Hello, hello. What's the matter with my throat? Hi, Monica. Hi, Leah. We are going live on YouTube, so I just want to let you know that we are going to be live on YouTube. This is not just on our community. I wanted to try something new today, okay? So I'm going to admit. Hi, Monica and Leah. We're going live on YouTube, okay? Is that all right with you? So you can keep your face off if you don't want to be on it. We're just going to have a discussion, and then I'm going to open question and answers. So I'm not going to let everyone in at the same time, but when people want to talk, then when they raise their hands, I'll just admit them to speak on screen. Is that okay with you? Can you hear me? Okay, beautiful. All right, so I am going to start now. And now I'm working from two screens. This is so fun. Okay, so welcome everyone to today's discussion. And I thought to myself, I wanted to have a discussion today, talking about a topic that many people don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about God because God for us is such a taboo topic. Let me see what we're saying in the comments. Okay, thanks, Monica. It's such a taboo topic. Why I've always found myself getting in trouble talking about God. Why? Because it's such a topic you have to be very careful to thread along. And because of that, I grew up as a Caribbean girl. Everybody's supposed to know by now, me a Jamaican, right? And I always was brought up to believe that God was somewhere really far, almost unreachable, and I grew up with a lot of scars because of this, because I threaded almost walking on eggshells. Well, sometimes it felt like glass, right? And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in my life if God is so unreachable and I have to always be threading in this particular way? Until I had this experience and I realized, wait, I have met God. Well, aspects of God. So that's what I want to talk about today, okay? So before we begin, let me ask you a question. How many people carry this within them very quietly? If I could meet God today, what would I say to him? What would I say to the itness, to this presence of love? What would I sit and have a conversation with God right this minute? I just want to meet God. So many people are messaging me and saying, Nikki, I would love to have an NDE. And the reason why I have these conversations, because I don't want you to want to have an NDE. I want you to enjoy this life. And I want you to enjoy life understanding that I actually have an opportunity to be one, boots on the ground for God, which I am walking as the light of God. But I also get these beautiful opportunities to meet God, aspects of God every day. And most times, I'll tell you, no joke, we miss it. So, what we're talking about today is not where religion taught you to be, not where fear taught you to be, and not where somebody said you should find God, but where you actually meet God every day. Well, where I actually met God every day. And for so many other people in my community that I've had these beautiful conversations with. So today we are going to open up this conversation and we're going to talk about it, okay? So let's begin. From my perspective, ever since my NDE, I realized something. People think you meet God only after death in church, or only when you're absolutely perfect, washed white as snow, and you followed the very thin yellow brick road, right? But God is everywhere, and we don't think to look. So we miss the subtle signs, the subtle imprints where God shows up for us to imprint that light that we are. So God meets us in very small moments, and these are the ones we overlook that I want you to be very open to from today. So today, by the end of this conversation, I want to open your awareness, because it's not as if God only is going to talk to you after today. God has always been sending you messages, meeting you in very subtle places, but some of us may have missed it because we're so much in our heads with everything we've learned, right? So the whispers that we dismiss, that's what I want to talk about. The interruptions that we get so annoyed about. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. God, why me? You know, these moments. That's what I want to talk about. So until others get on, just before I came on, I thought to myself, what a perfect opportunity. So I'm going to read just 2 or 3 pages from my book, because whatever I want to say, it was already thought of anyway and placed here. So give me a moment, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to go through this. I want you to listen to it. And as soon as I open up question and answers, I want you to dive in with me on these opportunities that you may have been aware of, because I want to hear the stories, or these moments that now you're remembering that you may have missed. Okay? So give me 2 or 3 minutes. I want you to listen to this. This is I went to chapter 1, Living in Fear of What's Already Here. This is from my book, On My Way to Meet God, yeah? So let's begin. Most people don't realize they're already standing in the presence of God. They live their entire lives waiting for a moment, a lightning strike, a bright light, a booming voice from the sky that will finally convince them they've met God. They think meeting God is a one-time, extraordinary event, something reserved for saints or the dying. But what if I told you that you've already met God many times? You met God when you held your child for the first time. You met God when you forgave someone who never said sorry to you. You met God in the quiet moment before sleep when your soul whispered, I want peace. And still, you've waited. Well, I did too. We have been taught that God is far away, that we have to earn his presence, qualify for his love, and fear his judgment, that God will arrive when we're holy enough, clean enough, broken enough, or desperate enough. So we live afraid. Well, I lived afraid. I'll ask you in a minute. Afraid we're too flawed, afraid we're too late, afraid we'll never be good enough. Not good enough for God. And in that fear, we miss what's already here. Because God isn't waiting for you on a mountaintop or at the end of your life. God is already in the hallway with you, in the tension before the breakthrough, in the forgiveness you can't quite give, and the tears you don't let fall. God is the stillness behind your breath, the whisper behind your questions. I know this now, but for years I didn't. I surely didn't. I prayed out of fear more than faith. I tried to get it right. I wondered if my past would block my path to the divine, and I thought that maybe if I was lucky, just lucky, I'd one day get a glimpse of God at the very end. But that was before I left this body, before I saw the truth that had always been present. You see, God doesn't come closer when you die. God becomes clearer when you finally let go of fear. Let me repeat that for you, because this was a pivotal moment for me. God doesn't come closer when you die. This is for everyone out there today who believes that I must struggle and I must live in complete fear, because maybe when I get to my deathbed, I may get a glimpse of God. So God does not come closer when you die. God becomes clearer when you finally let go of fear. And that's what this book is really about. Not about one moment when I met God, but the many, many moments I know I did, and the many more that you had too without realizing. And I'm going to stop here for now, and I'll continue. You see, this moment changed everything for me. And so far, it's taught quite a few thousand of people to look for God with new eyes. Not the eyes that you've looked through for the stories that everyone has told you, how you meet God. Because most people who tell you about God do not walk the walk of God. They do not speak the language of God, which is not in syllables and words. It's in feeling. When you speak to somebody who tells you about God, you should have bypassed those words and felt an imprint literally flowing through you of energy you've never felt before. When you walk the walk of God, you don't need to be dressed a particular way. You don't need to look a particular way. You don't even need to be a part of any particular type of people, culture, race, religion. You just need to be who you are, the light of God, which means every person you meet, you are incapable of judging that person no matter where they are from and what they're doing. All you are able to do when you walk in this light of God is see the light in them, even if they are incapable of seeing it. Even if they are sitting on the road abusing drugs this moment, when you see them, if you're walking the walk of God, and I kid you not, this was pivotal for me, because it is impossible for me now, and I do try, to look at somebody no matter how atrocious they present themselves. I want you to be aware of what God represents, because you are all walking aspects of God. You are a lighthouse of God, and I kid you not, is no joke. So that moment right there, many of us don't realize that where God hides is in plain sight, which means God's not hiding. You've passed God many times. So let's go a little bit deeper before I open up the questions, because I want to hear your stories. Many of us are waiting for heaven to speak, and we were waiting to listen to these voices. Well, on the other side, I heard humming. Every so often when I go to my sister's church, especially when the children are singing, when I close my eyes in that breath, I can hear the very same humming I heard on the other side. And I'm filled up because in that moment I can hear the angels singing, but you hear it in humming. We keep trying to hear the voice of reason when we should be feeling the aspect of God in us. So God has been speaking to you, all of you, all along. So let's talk about the moments when you have God and you may have missed it. I call them interruptions. So interruptions are something that you planned to the T. You crossed every T and you dotted every I, and I planned my day perfectly, or I planned my vacation perfectly. And suddenly there's a pause, or everything starts to fall apart. Jesus, peace. The Jamaican in me come out, right? God, why me? Because that's the first thing we say, isn't it? So that's not the universe blocking you or God fighting against you. That's you meeting God in a redirection. There is something out there in the spiritual realm that you aren't able to see because you're not opening yourself to the awareness and that intuitive feeling in your gut that gives you a very subtle pull downward to say, wait, this vacation you're planning, this weekend is not the weekend for it. Because you see, your spirit foresees there's going to be a storm, a blockage, a plane crash, whatever it is. But you have been so attached to everything in the physicality that you've forgotten that you are first energy, and the flow and the energy of God is also the same. Spirit is energy. So you've forgotten how to connect to your internal GPS. So you meet God in your canceled plans. Yes, you do. How many of you have a canceled plan here today? I guess I have to look on my computer over here so I can see. Okay, so I can see the comments on the other screen. So that's one way where you meet God and you forget it. So I had to put this in there because I had it too. Heartbreak. You meet God in heartbreak. Yes, you do. Because you see, most times when we experience heartbreak, it's a soul lesson. Before we stepped into it, there was this very subtle feeling in your gut. Or maybe we have a really good granny, like we Jamaican or Caribbean people. We always have a grandmother who say, Miss Spirit, not take him. Please listen to your grandmothers and your mothers, because most times they're so connected to the divine that they really do feel something that you don't see. So in heartbreak, your spirit expands It expands way much in the moments your heart break. Because your body is trying to quantify, oh my gosh, I put all my energy into this one relationship. What's going on there? And in the heartbreak, if you'll give yourself the pause moment, you will get out of your head for a minute. The angels call it the 12-inch journey. And you'll be able to start to listen to your heart that says, learn your lesson from this one. Now at least you know what you don't need in the next relationship you call in. Now work on you. Work on why you made this choice to have this experience. So in heartbreak, you meet God. In coincidences, did happen so much. I had a meeting with our beautiful group yesterday, and oh my gosh, it was divine. If any of you are here, see, things that kind of feel weird, these dreams that come out of nowhere. I was like, oh my gosh, got this dream, but it feels like deja vu. It's a coincidence, but it's a weird thing. I call this divine choreography because there's no producer on this earth that you can ever speak about that's as good as God. Everything in your life is choreography. I have a playlist on my YouTube called God's Grand Production. I want you to check it out. I have tons of them that I haven't recorded yet. I tested those out and people really didn't want to watch it much, I guess because my face is not on it. But I want you to take time to listen to God's Grand Production. Why? Because it's speaking about you. And these are just downloads that I got, and I thought to myself, true, true. So I want you to understand these coincidences that we say are accidents, mistakes, anything that you call a disappointment, please know it's redirection. God in children. I love this because I had an opportunity where my guide showed me there was a point in my time when I really used a lot of energy on something negative. Someone else who was just showing up negative in my life. And my guide showed me, because I was angry. Why, God? Why me? Why is this happening? And my guide showed me the imprint to say, you just missed the signs. You were never alone. Why were you crying so long saying you were alone? Look. And when they brought me back, I remember I was in the park one day. And there was this kid that all of a sudden I was so much into myself and I was thinking this world is better off without me. Because I had those feelings before. Because I felt very disconnected from grace, from divinity, from God. And I was just thinking to myself, this world is better off without me. I was just on that give up stage. I was done and there was nothing that could make me feel better. And my guides allowed me to see, but God was there with you. Do you remember that woman with that child? And she just stopped right where you are. And that little girl, for the whole time she was there, she tried to get your attention and all you had to do was pause and look at her. In her eyes, you would have felt God rejuvenating you to say, you matter. You will get over this. And the angel said, but you missed that. I want you to understand this moment. If you have a child in your house, or I want to go to the other side. They say, in Jamaica, we say once a man, twice a child. This is very big now. Because you see the aspect of God in a child's eyes, in their smile, in their giggle. I want you, every time you become aware, oh my gosh, listen to that laughter. I want you to be observant of what you were thinking in that moment. Because that, possibly, is an imprint or a sign from God to say, hey, you're not listening to me. You're not seeing the subtle signs that I'm giving to you. So listen to that child. Listen to the innocence. Listen to the joy, because it's one thing I can tell you, a child, before we begin to imprint upon that child fear, inability, your love has to be earned. So your unconditional love that you carry as a child for this family, we are too much in our indecisiveness. We are already a dysfunctional family. You better grow up in this dysfunction. I don't need your unconditional love. And when we do that to children, after a while, probably age 4, 5, 6 going up, we start to imprint upon them to think, oh my gosh, I have to earn love from my family because it's so dysfunctional. Just being here, just being a giggle in this place, because as a soul, I witness this family and I chose, God, send me into this family. It's so dysfunctional. God, let me be the gift to this family. And many of you out there have children in your households and you're so dysfunctional. I wanted to say bloody, so let me say it. You're so bloody dysfunctional because it feels better. It feels better. If I could speak this in Jamaican dialect, I would do it. Because when I speak in Jamaican dialect, it's so nicer, right? But we miss the imprints of God in the children, and not just the children. Let me go over to the elders. Once a man, twice a child means that you see the aspect of God. Why? When a child comes in, they already know what joy is. You listen to that laugh. They don't just laugh and hold back. A child doesn't laugh and I call it plastic smile. Oh God, they laugh with every fiber in their being because they're coming from where joy lives. If you have children in your house, I want you to be very aware of your energy. I don't know why I'm saying this now. I'm kind of digressing, but the angels say tell them. So listen, if you have children around you, I don't care what age, I want you to promise from this moment on that you will not let children feel abandoned anymore because we've done enough. And for us as adults, we have to deconstruct our mind so much, and it's so bloody hard to do. Excuse me, today is a bloody day for me. I don't know why it sounds good. I want you to understand. It's so challenging for us as adults now to deprogram ourselves because of so many things that we experience, witness, and face growing up as children that follows us as adults to this moment. And what we're doing now is blaming the one person, one political leader, one whatever infrastructure, one person in your life to say, it's your fault that I am this. And we forgot that all we did was spread a beautiful Persian rug over it, over that time in our life when we were 6, 10, whatever the age was, when somebody imprinted something on us of darkness, of fear, of doubt, of feeling that I don't deserve. And all you've done all your life until you become an adult is press replay. So every person you've met is a version of the person who hurt you because you haven't learned to let it go. So if we can do anything for these children, and it's very important for me to say this to all of you, we deserve to make changes now to understand that I'm not waiting. I'm not going to continue to be a mean individual, unkind to myself and unkind to people because I'm just waiting to go meet God on my deathbed. I'm going to be an aspect, a lighthouse, a light of God now. And this is not talking about religion or culture or anything. I've already kicked those walls down. So if you are still living in one of those rooms in the mansion, boy, you can stay in there. But I am on the outside, where this angel showed me all those many bloody mansions populating around. And I'm not in any of those rooms anymore. I'm outside, basking in the joy of God because I see God in the flowers that opens. So let's go back to the elder. When somebody gets to a certain age, let me tell you what the real imprint of God is. For you to quantify and feel the fullness of God, you must let go of everything physical. There is a surrender that you get to. And I'm talking to, I don't care what religion you're from. I don't care what culture, what they taught you. I'm telling you something now from my perspective, but I can tell you if you would just listen and follow it for a second. For all of you said, Nikki, I haven't felt God. You just missed the signs. You just haven't surrendered. There is a surrender in a child that has not been imprinted with fear and doubt. There is a surrender in an elder. The most things an elder will have ongoing on their last days are regret and fear. Here is why. When you become to the end of stage, because you are now letting go of the attachments that you fought so hard and was being so unkind or insignificant in your life because you weren't thinking about it. When you get to end stage, you become a innocence, not innocent. You become an innocence again in your awareness because the physicality is now dropped. You're not thinking about the house, the family stories, the history, everything where you say, make sure you do that. Those don't matter to you anymore because your body starts to slowly shut down and you start becoming less aware of the physicality and more aware of what you're stepping into. That's why people who are going to end stage, they will finally say, oh, I want to reach out to this one. Oh, I want to talk to this one. It's not because all of a sudden death is biting them. In Jamaica, we'd say death bite them. It's a stage of letting go. So why is it that the in-between you living, you coming into this earth as a child, to the moment when you are going back to source, why is it the in-between, the 24 hours that you get in every day, that's all you have to deal with, 24 hours per day, that's it. Why is it the in-between, you find it so challenging to give love? Why is it you find it so challenging to be aware of the embodiment that you are capable of receiving from God? Why is it that we hold on to so much of the physical? I have to hold on to these attachments. I need to hold on to the fear. I need to hold on to being a victim because they victimize me. And if I let go of myself as being a victim, that means I let go of what they did. No. But you must let it go in order for your adult state to start to have the capacity as an able-minded adult, taking back your power from what happened to you. And there's a place that we meet God in the silence. You ever had those moments in life when God clear room for you? God just clears your room. All of a sudden, nobody's in your life. It's like, and instead of you realizing and pausing for a moment to say, wait, there must be a reason why God just cleared all my rooms. All of a sudden, those friends don't talk to me. All of a sudden, well, it's because you were getting the signs that you needed to fly the coop and you never did. So God found moments, even if they're hurtful, to clear your rooms. Because these rooms need to be clear. I need you to have some time with me now. And having time with God is literally having a mirror up and looking at yourself to say, what is it about me that I need to change today? Just like a disaster, an earthquake. When an earthquake is coming and the angels give me a prediction, they would say, Nikita, because some of them call me Nikita. What is it about your physical life and your spiritual life that needs to be unearthed? Focus not on the earthquake. Focus on what you do to amplify this earthquake or to allow it to be dormant. Isn't that cool? Because everything that Gaia does is mirroring how we're living. So you see the chaos and the pockets of chaos that's happening in the world right now. God not be to it. We're kind of doing it ourselves. We have forgotten how to pray. We have forgotten how to love our brothers, just love them unconditionally without putting conditionality on it. We have forgotten how to have the grace and the reverence and the ethics for life. So we just allow ourselves to listen to the whispers and take somebody's life without caring what happened. What an imprint you put on yourself. So the angels say the atrocities that we witness right now, it mirrors our life and we don't want to admit it. Many of you will say, no, 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 this atrocity that happened, I'm Jamaican. I saw what was going to happen in Jamaica. But what I saw was way more terrible than what's happening now. But you know why I have groups now to pray for my country? Because it is dependent on humanity to be activated right now. And I'm very worried. Because in the face of atrocities, we as human beings let go of faith so easily. This is why I worry about Jamaica and Haiti and all these countries that are going through these things now, and more will happen. And if I could hold every Jamaican right now, even if they don't have a roof over their heads, to beg them to say, please don't let go of faith, because what's happening now is just a soul test. Please just stick it through in faith. Because if they don't, there are whispers in the air where there are devastations. And if we do lose faith, we will see uprisings in my country and in all these other countries that will make it worse than it should be. Because what's happening there, the angels call it ground zero. I'm sorry, I'm digressing because it's just popping in my head. They call it ground zero because it's a place that the enemy meant to be a place of poverty. It's supposed to be impoverished. It's supposed to be a place of people who are completely depressed. But instead, these Caribbean countries and Africa, and these places that were left to be impoverished, God found favor for these places so much. And these places were so blessed. And most of them did not have what society says you need to be rich. But when you go there, don't you feel the richness in the energy, in the air, in the people, that you can't tell that they are not absolutely creme de la creme of wealth? Because the spirit that lived there The Spirit of God lives in places that were supposed to meant to be impoverished, but they held on to faith and joy and love so much that their lens cannot see poverty. I want you to understand spiritually what's happening in this world right now. This is why I talk about God so much. I did not want this book to be named On My Way to Meet God. I wanted it to be named Boots on the Ground. And the angel said, no, you don't. We want the reverence of the name God to come back online. Where when we call the name God, like worlds gone by that they showed me, just calling the name God regains its power so much that you'll see spontaneous healing, because there are too many people holding on to the name God right now because they want to own it, but they're not walking the walk of God. This is why I'll do these lives. This is why I won't shut up, because I can't unsee what I see, and I can't unhear what I hear, but I can't carry this message alone. So I won't speak about predictions that I see, but I will speak to you about what we can do to make it better, because that won't drive fear. That will anchor your faith. So when everything around you feels quiet and empty, that's when God speaks the loudest. Most of us, when we're quiet to ourselves, we come up with the best ideas. That business that I never thought I'll be brave enough to sit into, to start, to go out, to say, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to start. I'm going to start it. You know why? Because the only voice you allowed yourself to hear was God. I had this vision before, and I love it. It's profound. The angels allowed me to witness this little boy, very little boy, in his room, and I was like in the air, and I was watching him in his room, and he was populating all these imaginative things. I'm going to tell you the point of this life today in a minute. And he was thinking of all the things he wanted to aspire in life, this little boy. And you know what happened? The minute he started to think, it took him to this womb space. This is where I was when my grandmother kicked me out of heaven, in a sense. I was in this dark space, but it wasn't darkness. It was like in a womb space where everything I thought started to populate. And everything I thought there, I can tell you, it's like creating my own vision board, because everything just has populated itself one after the other without me saying anything. I just knew. This little boy was thinking, and first of all, I saw one golden thread and it populated to two. And the more he thought about it, it started to create itself in that dark space in his mind, and it populated to 4, to 8, to 16, and it kept populating. And it went 32, 64, and it just kept populating. His mother came in the room. And you know how children are excited. This is why everything I talk to you, I want you to remember, as you heal yourself, you heal our children. The mother came through the room and the little boy was excited. He said, Mom, I'm thinking about, and I'm going to do. And the mother said one thing to him that was negative in a sense, because she's only telling him what she was taught. So I'm not blaming the mother, but I want you to be aware of the imprint and the energy of the words that you use with children. And the moment the mother said that to the child, do you know what happened? The angel allowed me to witness. You see those golden thread that was populating this little boy's future of knowing that everything was possible? It started to deplete itself. It started to unweave. Do you know why? Not because the mother said something, but because that child believed what the mother said, and he placed doubt on the dream that God was giving him. Just doubt, you know. So you see those quiet, empty places that God puts us when he clears room? It's the clear room where you don't have distraction, where there's no other voices that does not understand the ordership that God has on your life. But he wants you to shut up and listen and feel and follow. Order my steps, oh God. Not people ordering your steps, even if they said it was never done. If you feel that upon your heart, know that every time you hold on to that thought, I don't want you to let it go. Just keep asking God every day when you wake up with an intention. God, order my steps. You are speaking to God every day. So that inner voice is what I call God frequency. And I want you to hold on to that. I made a post about grief. So I'm going to talk about grief and suffering. In your suffering, no matter what you're facing now, whether it's financial, whether it's losing somebody you love, whether it's sickness, God still hasn't left you there. I don't want you to say, God, why me? Sometimes it's good to say, God, why not me? To show this world that this disease, it bloody well needs attention right now. There is somebody coming up in my family who needed to witness me go through this grace. There is something that I chose to change as I go through what they call suffering. But I'm gracefully showing this world that God still meets you where you are. God is not missing. We are simply distracted. And I'm going to give whoever needs to have an opportunity. This is the first time I'm trying this, so I hope it works, guys. I want you to tell me in the comments, because my screen is over here, and also if anyone wants to come on screen. I want you to tell me if you've had an experience where you now can think to say, oh my gosh, I've probably met God. I want you to tell me if you've had an experience where you're thinking now, maybe that was God, that homeless person that I met, or an accident that you almost had and you know you saw something like an apparition of an angel or whatever it is. Or if you want to talk about something else, but just still regarding this for people who want to understand. Is there anyone who's on Zoom right now? For those of you who are on the live, I added a Zoom link on my website for those who wanted to come on screen with me. And if you don't, that's fine. You have to put your hand up, whoever is in the Zoom. I have 10 people now in the Zoom in the back room. Does anyone of you want to come on screen? You don't need to show your faces, but you need to raise your hand if you want to come and say anything about what I'm talking about right now. And I'll be privy for that. And it will be cool for me because it's the first time I'm trying this, to put people on the screen on YouTube, which I've never done before. So does anyone want to talk about your own experience with witnessing a miracle, witnessing God, or you have any questions? Feel free to do that. And while I wait for that, let me add the Zoom link to this thing right now. Give me a second. I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, I do. I do. Channel, posts. Okay, so I found it. Yeah, I found it. Okay. So I'm going to add this to one of these. Copy. Okay, so I'm going to add it to the live in the comments. Here I am. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to add it here. So for anyone who wants to come on live, you can. You just have to enter using the Zoom. So you can do that, okay? I'm going to open the panel. This is quite fun because I've never quite done this before, but I think I've got it. Okay. All right. So whoever is on this right now doesn't want to talk about anything. There's a okay. Okay, Liv. So I need to unmute you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Liv.
I was going to put my face on too.
You can. That's fine.
If you wanted me to.
Yeah, you can. Do I need to do that on this end?
Yes, it looks like you may need to because
Carol, you should have been doing this because I am not good with this at all. Okay, so I am muting you or unmuting you, am I?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're unmuted. And I actually don't see. I'm just making you a co-host, Liv, because I haven't a clue what I'm doing. Okay, confirm. I'm making you co-host because that will help. Tell me if you have access now. There you go, Liv. Okay, good. Now I'm going to have to practice this more. I haven't a clue what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again, Nekesha.
Yeah, and look at us on YouTube, just trying to make this work, right? We're trying to pull as much people into our beautiful conversations, and I don't know why, but here I am. So open the floor.
So yeah, this is a beautiful conversation. I have to
Yeah,
tell you, growing up, I did not have a good experience with this God, or the word even conjures up a lot of triggers at
yeah,
times. But I'm finding now that, with everything that you shared, I'm finding that I'm consciously choosing every day
yeah,
to see God. Like I had a beautiful experience, and it came to my understanding that, we're not meant to live in bliss in this so-called space of like nothing bad ever happens, so to speak.
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm,
the experience of it all taught me that God is everything and everywhere.
mm-hmm.
And having been born in the Congo, because that's where I was born and raised in the Congo,
Yeah,
um, before I want to say before religion actually ended
yeah,
up there. So my father's tribe, the people in my father's tribe, always treated everything as God. Like the ants were God, the plants were God, the sky was God, they were God.
yeah,
And but never using that word, because
yeah,
that word to me is so charged with so many things, that it takes us into another space. And I was
yes.
sharing in your comments, actually, I had a beautiful experience of betrayal
Mm-hmm.
where I was able to see God, but only after the fact.
Yeah.
So now I want to train myself to be able to see God in the midst of the storm, in the
Mm-hmm,
midst of the chaos,
mm-hmm.
and be able to take in that presence. I
Yeah,
still question as to what God is,
yeah.
if it's a frequency, or if we even really have the language
I'll
for
explain.
this
Yeah,
this bigger, greater thing that's outside of us. So the betrayal with the friend who, and I won't go into too many details, but
yeah,
basically she said something to someone else who approached me, and then I was sexually harassed,
yeah.
and it felt very, very uncomfortable. I withdrew my energy from her,
Mm-hmm,
and she reached out to me. She kept reaching out to me, and finally apologized, which I wholeheartedly accepted her apology. However, my boundaries say, you know what? You're more than likely going to continue to treat me in such a manner.
yeah,
My approach to her was, okay, that's fine, great. I accept your apology,
yeah,
because I was able after the fact to see God in that presence.
yeah.
However, what I did say to her was, but you do not get to disrespect me anymore. You do not get to treat me lesser than.
Mm-hmm,
And if you can't accept those terms, then you and I can just agree to go our separate ways. No harm, no foul, no animosity. I don't
yes.
dislike you nor like you, but I will
Yeah,
send as much love as possible towards you.
yeah, yeah.
So I left it at that.
Mm-hmm,
And I'm not really too concerned about it if she comes back into my life or not. I just feel like everything is divinely orchestrated. But I have to be really, really honest, Nikisha. When you are in the midst of it, I don't know how people are able to see God
mm-hmm,
in the midst of like war, in the midst of hate crimes, in the midst of all of that.
mm-hmm.
It's to be able to rise to that level, and I'm teaching myself and I'm still learning,
Yes.
is to just become aware of my triggers,
Mm-hmm,
and allow for the triggers to point out where I need to be maybe a little bit more heart-centered, a
yes.
little bit more loving, and a little
Yeah.
bit more compassionate, not just outwardly, but towards myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a secret sauce right there. So I'm going to start with this. I want to explain to you from my perspective what God represents. And I love it because everything that you're saying now, I argued a lot in the beginning because the word God is so convoluted. And I want everyone to remember I'm using the word God because it's worldwide. Everybody knows when you say God what God represents. But there's no name that we need to identify or quantify what God represents to anyone. So just saying God is not enough because sometimes it feels as if just saying God, it diminishes what the aspect of God really is. But I have to use that word because it's what most people will identify. And they identify it different ways. They identify the word God firstly with judgment. What God? Which God? And if it's from a faith, which denomination? And the judgment keeps peeling it away. And the convolution with the word God, which should not be. And the first time I asked, well, what should I call God? Because when I just had my NDE, I was confused. I was like, do I say source? Do I say presence? Do I say the universe? Because if you say universe to some people, they're like, how dare you, you know? And you have these feeling like, so what do I do? And I remember Archangel Michael is kind of more that one, especially when you want to cut away something. And that's why I love the house with many rooms, this mansion with many rooms that Michael showed me, because God does not need to be identified. But every person on this realm who has a perception of what God means for them, if you want to just own that for yourself, well, you create for yourself a room of God. So you can call it whatever you want to call Abba, God, universe. The presence and the source of what God represents is simply love. But I remember I was talking to somebody one day and they gave me this visual and I love it. Somebody asked me, so Nikki, what's God? How do I quantify God in the physicality? And this was beautiful, Liv. So maybe this will help somebody else. I want you to imagine God as this ocean that never ends, as far as your eyes can see, as far as you can spread your hand. And if you close your eyes for a moment and take that breathing that I love to do, you will start to feel the energies that which it is. That is God. God represents this absolute grandeur ocean that never stops. It never stops running. It's always there. That is God. And the question now is, who am I to God? And I can take this bottle, and I'm having the chills now just saying this. This is you. The aspect of God is always within you. This bottle is your body. If the aspect of God is always in you, it means that God is always connected to you, is it not? It means that you're never limited either, but you are in a limitation of a vessel. So you get an opportunity to express yourself as the light of God. But God never gave you the responsibility to do God, which means I don't need to judge. I simply need to be a pure life aspect of what God is. I'm a pure life brand, and somebody else would be another brand. Somebody's another brand, and some people add colors to themselves. It doesn't matter. At the end of it, I am an aspect of God. They never taught us this, but the angels taught me this. They said, how can you be separate from God? But try to remember this. As you walk the walk of God, I want you to imagine, in order for this water to be consumed within you, this water of God, of life, it had to suck itself into this very limited bottle, which means not all aspects of you is here either. You are not a body who has a soul. You are a soul who chose, by the order of God, on an assignment for this planet, to contain an aspect of you in a bottle. But as long as you shall exist, that ocean is always there, which is God. You will be witnessed to express yourself because you chose this bottle. It is limited, but this source of God within you, nothing can ever touch, can it? Unless you choose to. You can choose to spill the beans a little bit sometimes. I can convolute it. I really want to hold on to hate and bloodthirst and bitterness. I can convolute it if I feel like it. It's my vessel. But you see, when you're done, even if you're the most atrocious person in the world, your core base is the light of God. You've added too many colorings in it, of doubt, of anger, of pain. When you look at it, you don't see clear water anymore. But within the core base of that is God. So I can choose in any moment to see the light of God within me. That's how God asks you to see everyone. Even if they've colored their water too much, Liv, and all I can see is anger and hate, like this friend of yours, there is an aspect of her at some point in her life where she just believes, I am going to just be this individual. But an aspect of her, in those moments when you're going through these atrocious times, the reason why God say I meet you there, when you become aware of somebody being atrocious to you, mean, unkind, something crazy happening in this world, the reason why the angel said, integrate mind, body, and soul is your mind is telling you, how dare her? I need to tell her my mind. I need to be this. Your mind does this because that's what the mind knows. That's a story that the mind has been told. If somebody crosses me, I'm going to meet them in anger. But if you will allow yourself in that moment, which is what the angels teach, to feel, your body never lies. Your body starts to give you this feeling, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this anger in, but it's not taking your power away. It's saying, live, feel. Do you feel that anger? What was it triggered from? It was triggered from this bloody friend, and I'm so pissed at her because the mind starts to talk again. I'm going to tell her, and I'm going to meet her, and I'm going to tell more stuff about her that I know too. You're going to meet anger where anger is it not? But if you allow yourself to feel, you get to hear your heart in a second. No, you don't. Don't meet her in the darkness that she's carrying because you've let that go. We have different aspects of us that speak. So it's in that pause moment where you can meet God to say, what is it about me? Why I'm experiencing this right now? And you could identify, Liv, for a moment. There was an aspect of me who needed this friend at a point in my life. It's expired now because I don't need to have these conversations anymore because God is building me up. I can now stand on my own 2 feet. I don't need to converse with this individual anymore. And when we don't listen to the whispers, we get our bahudis kicked. And that's why our rooms get cleared. So when it happens, you don't regret it. You simply look at it to say, God, thank you. Something worse would have happened. And you gracefully got to let go of that. But I'm proud of you for finally seeing the blessing from learning a lesson 1, but also understanding how you can add light to a very dark situation. Because that's kind of how we need to be. Because at the end of the day, when you drop this body, you go back to that ocean. But while we are living, I want everyone to understand this as we go through everything. If people are here that swim, I don't like swimming, but I need to. Understanding what God means to you is surrendering in water. Just imagine yourself just going into the biggest ocean you can think of, and you surrender to it. Why? Because you don't actually know where you're heading. Most times you don't need to, you just need to trust. When the doubts come in, you see a wave that's coming and fear creeps in. When you start to fight against that wave, that water, that current, how does it feel? It's because God is telling you surrender and trust. But you see the wave and you're just imagining, oh my gosh, I can't take this wave, this family dynamics, this heartbreak, I can't handle it. So you're focusing on the wave, how big it is, instead of remembering, wait, God said to surrender. Surrender on this wave because I've got you. I order your steps. Now, when you get visions like this, I cannot unsee it. So every time I get to witness anything that happens in the world, I ask myself, how do I surrender to this? How do I add light to this situation? Because I will not fight against the currents, because if I do, I'm going against what God has planned. If I judge someone in this situation, it's like me trying to hold on to a straw in water, when if I just allow myself, no matter how rough it gets, it's going to take me where I need to go. I want everybody to hold on, no matter what you're going through in this life today. Surrendering to that ocean is a big trust, but you trust your breath. And we talk about this living in our community. And sometimes I really do hope that a day will come when everybody sees a sign over their bed to say, today, you're responsible for 333 breaths. So you'll be responsible and accountable for your day. Because I don't know how many breaths I breathe for the day, but I trust it. There is a source ocean out there of unconditional love that gives it to me. But I bet the day when you are responsible for your breathing, you'll argue less. You won't be atrocious. That person wouldn't have time to think of what they're going to do to hurt Liv or to hurt anyone else out there, because I have to be responsible for my breath. If I do that, it's going to take 100 out, and I need it. And Mother Mary would say, my beautiful friends already know this, but for all of you who don't know, we practice to die every night too. Isn't that cool, Liv? And I said to Mother Mary, are you kidding me? No, we don't. She said, you do. Before you go to sleep, there's this surrender. So everything with God is a surrender, isn't it, Liv? I love that.
It
because
is.
you surrender to knowing that God orders your breaths. I'm going to come to you, Leah, in a minute. And there is a moment in sleep, just before you go to sleep, there is a divine surrender. I witnessed it last night. I was like, I want to feel this surrender. It feels so good. It feels as if the moment when I was having the NDE, when I just knew, okay, I'm going to die. And I was annoyed with myself to say, damn it, they're gonna come find you naked and dead on the floor. That's my first thought. And on the other side, I thought to myself, couldn't you think something better? But that's what I was thinking just before my breath left. So last night before I went to sleep, I was like, okay, Mother Mary, let me practice this practicing to die. But for real, I don't know when I fell asleep, because there was this pause moment between life, like within the physical and the spiritual realm, where there was this surrender and I was gone. So when the angels say, Nikki, human beings practice to die every night. But don't you understand that in your practice of death, there is proof also that there's no end? Don't you understand that you expand every night when you sleep? You go to other realms, other dimensions. You experience things that aren't even happening yet. It shows you that your soul is more expansive than your body. So in meeting God is letting go of every attachment, pain, everything in the physical realm, house, money, wealth, greed, and just simply surrendering to that aspect of love that you have. Liv, thank you so much. I love you. And for everyone who's out there, Liv, I want you to share your links if you have links in this thing. If not, when you come over to our community, well, you meet Liv, because that's where we really have saucy talks. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going to go to Leah. Leah, I hope I can do this. Leah, do you want to come on? Or Leah? Do I have to do something to
Yes,
let Leah
yes.
on?
It's Lee. So
Lee,
that's
oh, I'm
okay.
sorry, Lee.
No, no, I've
Thank
been
you.
called so many things. No worries.
Okay. Well, love. Love is a name
That's
for you.
that's a great name. Thank you.
Beautiful.
If you can't get me on, that's okay.
No,
Um,
you're on. I can see you.
oh, you can?
And you're
Okay.
speaking.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe I need to turn my video on.
If you feel comfortable with it, we'd love to see
Well,
your beautiful face. Yay!
oh my gosh. I'm so blurred. Can you see me?
I
I
can see
think
you.
I
You're so
can.
beautiful. Let's
Oh my
go.
gosh. Everyone
Mwah.
is. Thank you. And I get to meet with you, I believe, tomorrow. So I'm so excited about
I'm
that. Yes, yes, yes,
excited.
yes. Um, mine and lip, talk about beautiful. Look at Olivia. Oh my goodness. So you
Yes.
see the light in her, just
Mm-hmm.
as we do you, and I know everyone, the beautiful energy of everyone
Yeah.
here. Mine is more of um something I have truly been working on myself. I was raised in the church and have been working on myself and my connection to what we would call God or just the
Yes.
divine, the universe,
Yes.
of wanting to hear and wanting to hear and wanting to see, or however it is that God would want to present them,
Itself. It's
show me,
okay.
show me,
Yeah.
show me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely way on the other half of my life now of age, but for as long as I can truly recall, uh, I would say in my teens, I have been collecting heart rocks, heart leaves, heart, you name it, whatever, on a
Yes.
rock, on a walk, on vacation. People are always, what are you looking for? And I usually don't have to look long, but I'll go on hikes or walks with my children and take a backpack, and they're like, please do not pick up another heart rock. We just cannot. You have a zillion at home.
Right.
One day I'm going to make a business and paint them all. But here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
This is what my point is. I have been, and this is something that we that I hope is something simple for everyone here, because I have been asking God, please show yourself to me for as long as I can remember. Please
Mm-hmm.
show yourself, let me know I'm hearing from you. And I know that I do present at times words of wisdom, or I know that those words come from God.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is here. I've just been asking God to show. And it wasn't until too long ago that I realized all of these rocks that I'm
Yeah.
finding are God saying, here I am.
Yeah.
Remember that I love you.
Yeah.
But then it was just that I've known for a while. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been asking God, please, I want to hear you. I want to see you. I want to know things. I want to help others. And was presented to me within just the past couple of weeks, that I heard God clearly say, if you can find me in the rocks, you can find me in anything. Now, I've had that, I got that download. Nothing
Yeah.
else has come yet, but I know that it has to be coming. So I just wanted to come on here to let everyone know that if you can find it truly in the small things, and I have chills, you know,
Yes,
God
me too.
is there. I mean, it is there, as you've said, you know, the
Yeah.
breath of consciousness.
Yeah.
And so I know it's going to be coming,
Yeah.
and I just have to keep allowing, because I've allowed it. I don't want to say mastered, but I mean, within seconds,
Yes.
I can just walk up and pick up a rock out of you name it.
Yes.
So I know if I can do that, I just have to be open and relax and believe the other. And no, not believe, know the others.
Yes.
Trust, trust,
Trust.
trust that the other is there, that I can receive that as easily as I can the
Yes.
heart rock.
I
So I
love it.
just wanted to share that. I know that's actually something simple, but I just felt guided that I'm sure that that can help someone else who's listening,
That's
even
why we
on
do
YouTube or
this.
whatever, you know,
Thank
that,
you.
yeah. So
Thank you.
thank you for
I
your
am so
time.
excited. I can't wait to see
Yes,
you
yes, yes,
tomorrow.
yes, my love. Thank you for allowing me on. I can
Thank you.
go off now, and I just hope that that has blessed someone, as
Mm.
y'all have. Okay,
Yes.
kisses, kisses. All righty. All right, I'm gonna block my video. Thank
Okay.
you.
Now,
Okay, thank you. But I'll
what?
listen. Yes, go ahead. Whatever you want to say. If anything
Ex-
to that or add on.
I will. So
Okay.
if anyone else wants to come on, just raise your hand, enter the whatever, this room. I want to tell you, God meets you where you are. Don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be washed white as snow. You see the moment of surrender. And these are the very subtle things that we miss. You see, for me, on the other side, I never forgot, they call it ego. My mind went there. My mind went there for a moment to say, wait, after all the things that I did on this planet, because I did a lot of things, I'm giving big, grandiose things, right? I thought when I was in the presence of these angels, almost going through the death process, I really thought my life review, now that I think about it, would show me all the big things that I did in this life. It didn't. It chokes me up even to this moment. I thought it would have shown me, oh my gosh, when you help that person with that big thing that they needed help with. But I think in those moments, because I was kind of doing it from ego too, I wanted to do it because I love to hear the word thank you. The things that mattered the most were the very minute things that you thought are most ridiculous. The very subtle things, by giving a person $1 on the side of the road. Not because they're asking, but because in that moment of you locking eyes with them or seeing them, something pulls you and you feel something within you that says, wait, this is something that you're doing for God, boots on the ground for God. Do you understand what I mean? And this is something that we absolutely love to do. Okay. Thank you, Liv. Thank you so much for that. And for me, the very simple things were like the big things. And it's not as if, oh my gosh, it's a simple thing as giving somebody $1. But they showed me almost like a blueprint, and energetically I could feel it. That person had a prayer before. And me being boots on the ground for God was getting an opportunity to meet God that day, just sitting there. And I was supposed to be aware. And being aware, guys, is just being observant. You observe people where they are, you observe situations, you observe life. And when I say try to see light in everything, you really do. You don't see a tree that has blue leaves or green leaves, wondering why the other tree has red leaves. They're just who they are. They don't care what the other one is doing. But I am in my own authentic self. And while I am doing this and being this individual, I can be an aspect of God because you are the light of God. So most people think God is outside of me, but you meet God the clearest when you meet yourself. And this is a very, very, very touchy part because most people say, I don't love myself, I don't know how to. If you find it insignificant to love yourself, to feed or pour into yourself, to be kind to you, you're kind of not being kind to God, aren't you? And I know it's touchy. It makes many of us feel, I'm not a good person, but you are. You just forgot how to see the light of God from you. Because maybe a story was told that said, hey, you don't deserve. Maybe a story was told to say, yeah, you're not worthy. You need to earn your love. So if I have to earn my love from my family, oh my gosh, I have to work even harder to earn this love from God. But God does not speak through shame and fear. God speaks through your awareness. God speaks through your alignment, your honesty, your authenticity, your love. And this love is not found somewhere on a shop corner. You can't pay $1 for it. It's every day that you show up for yourself and you start to think about you. I am worthy. I deserve to speak small truths. I will not swallow my truth anymore. I have to speak it because every time I swallow, I feel bad in my stomach. Every time somebody says something and I feel this trigger coming on, I tense myself. And I don't want you to think you're only tensing yourself. You are also shrinking your light. That God particle that you have, you're shrinking it. Because God wants you to speak up in that moment. Not speaking judgment and pointing fingers, but speaking to allow your compassion to be felt. And most of us walk this life alone and we think we're walking alone. When is the last time you called God on a trip with you? I'm going for a walk in nature, God. We are going for a walk in nature. When is the last time you did that? That's why so many people say, I can't hear God. Not because God is silent, but because the noise inside your head that you focus on is much louder. And that's what I don't want you to miss. I want you to feel, no matter how depleted you're feeling in the moment, and your mind says, take a walk. And when you start to take that walk, you can feel the sun hit you different that day. And I want you to become aware of how it's hitting you, almost to say, hey, it's an angel giving me a hug. And as you take this deep breath, you become present. This is what presence means. And you can acknowledge, thank you, God, for lending me the energy I need because I was feeling so down. When the rain starts to fall, oh my gosh, would you stop cussing the rain? For a moment before you get your umbrella out, just stand in a moment and just in your present moment. God, you're so good. Thank you for washing away that horrible energy I just consumed. These are the present moments. Does anyone else want to come and screen? I don't want to keep anyone too long today. I'll look in the comments if there's any questions on my other screen over here. It's one thing I teach in my self-love course, which I just launched, but that's not important here. But all the things that I put in it was almost all the things that the angel brought me through when I had to do this mirror work, which when I told my parents for the first time I'm doing mirror work, the fear came over. Mirror is a bad thing. Mirror carry through demons. And I was fearful for a second. And I have to understand where the fear came from because there are these compounded stories of things that makes us fearful. But the natives, there's so many other natives and traditions that holds on to it. So we've been taught to let go of the things that makes us powerful. And I'm going to, in the next couple of weeks, because I'm getting all these downloads now, subtly bring them to you one by one so you can understand what these things actually meant, the stories that were told to sound fearful, but it makes you feel as if you're so insignificant that you don't have the light of God. I'm going to go through some questions here, just in case I'm missing anything. Let me go from top. Hi, Cheryl. If anyone wants to raise your hand here, just raise your hand and I'll put you on screen. Cheryl, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Cheryl 1144 says, yes, I had religious trauma because I felt unworthy when I have to talk to someone to be forgiven and been told I am a sinner. My girl, I used to sit in the back of the church pew most of the times. I never felt I was worthy to go in the front. Now, girl, I pass everybody and I go to the front when I go to church because I found and understood that God is not in a temple waiting for me. I bring the aspect of God there. You cannot go into these places empty because when you go in it, what's going to fill you up? The judgment that looks at you to say, yeah, she's unmarried, so how dare she be in this place? Because there are people who are there also who Call the word God, and it's not pointing on anybody. Please don't think that I'm pointing fingers on anyone. But we're human beings, and I want to point out, especially for the people who call the name God, but you don't walk the walk of God. And because of that, so many people are afraid to be in these places with you and feel comfortable, because you don't understand that judgment does not walk in the same road as God does, and we must let it go. So, Cheryl, 1144, I used to feel this way. But you see, as I began to surrender to what God represented to me by seeing an aspect of God in myself, girl, I started to walk up at the front of that church, and I sit in the front pews and I worship God the way I want to worship it. But at the same time, right after my NDE, I was very bitter with the church, I'll be honest with you. And then I realized really quickly, if you become bitter and start to judge a church for what the church teaches, you also start to create for yourself a room in one of these mansions. And the angel said, do you want to create another room in these mansions? And I said, no. They said, well, you did not choose to come back for a second chance in life to judge anybody. That's not your place. You came back to be a lighthouse. And that's the first time I heard the word lighthouse. Mm-hmm. And the angel said, you do not need to go anywhere or be anything except yourself. You are the light of God. And as you speak only in holiness and truth, and allow God to speak through you so it will be felt and not heard. So this is why when I do my videos, sometimes you'll hear me say, I don't want you to hear what I said. I want you to feel what I'm saying. And the reason why I say that is because I want you to feel what's touching you. I want you to feel the truth that resonates with your life, because I will give one message now and 100 of you will be here, and it hits all of you a different way, because it depends on where you are in your life and what you need now. So for me, Cheryl, I understand that. But I want you to know God meets you where you are. And you have the aspect of God in you. Surrender to that by understanding I let go of all these attachments. The naysayers, the words that says you are a sinner. Because you are the one who hold on to this to say, am I a sinner? What did I do to hold this sinnership? Do I not love myself? Am I not kind to people? Do I not walk the walk of God? For those of us who talk about Yeshua, I say Yeshua now, only because on the other side, Yeshua is a name that I communicated with Jesus as. I did not say Jesus. I don't know why. But I said Yeshua. So when you hear me saying Yeshua, is Jesus. And that is when my guides tell me it's time to speak about Jesus the right way, I will. But the stories that the angels and Jesus has explained to me, the stories are a little bit different the way we were taught. But it doesn't matter as much now, because I will not tell these stories for anyone to point a finger to blame. I will tell the story when the time is right for you to understand that even though many of the stories in the text were convoluted, I want you to hold on to the actual events that happened there. The events of Ruth, the events of Joseph, the events of Jesus, the events of all these individuals, every one of these stories, those are the blueprints of the Bible for the people who follow Christianity. And every one of these books, there are stories in there that the angel showed to me. Hold on to the stories, because it shows you that whatever season you're going through in your life, God, source, love, whatever you want to call it, finds you favor. Because if God found favor for Joseph, despite everything that beautiful soul went through, God will find you favor. And the favor is probably already in your life, but you just won't open up to see it, because you have your life set out another way. But God has another plan for you, because you're choosing to settle. And God says, no, you're not going to settle. So I'm going to rip up this ship. Mother Mary says ship means relationship, friendship, all these ships, because the ships that you should welcome to your port needs to be ships that are equally yoked for you. And you're choosing ships that are only going to drop off, but nothing that's going to sustain your being, your soul, your life. Okay? Let me see what else is here. Thank you, what's that? Holt Crowder. What's up with the hair? Listen, I pulled a wig on this morning because I went out for a run and I'm having a bad hair day. So please forgive me with what's up about the hair. I have a hat on. I put a wig on because women do these things, you know. Okay. Jeanette Pearson. After reading Conversations with God in 1998 by Donald Neil Walsh, it's a good book, that, by the way, that book, my entire concept of God changed. It's a really good book. I love that book. I have it also. Walking in Favor says the Most High of, I can't see the other word, to me in my dream in 2020, I heard his voice clear as wind. It's true. And we spoke to so many other people, especially this week, who has had profound interventions with God. And I want you also to understand this. You don't need to have an NDE to hear God. A lot of us have interactions with God when somebody for us passes away. Some of us have profound experiences with God when somebody is born new into your family. A lot of us have aspects with God in the most horrific stages when you just feel as if something else breathes you, and you have this pause moment when you just feel something that you've never felt before. It's a profound type of love. And I want you to understand that you do not need an NDE. So many of you say, Nikki, I need an NDE. No, you don't. You just need to hold on and surrender to this awareness of what God represents for you. And when you feel that feeling, it almost becomes addictive, and you can never stop feeling it. And you always try to seek to be a better person every day, to hold on to that frequency of God. Do you understand? Okay, let's see what's here. The Conscious Cat, my heart is still broken over the passing away of my mother in 2022. The Consciousness Cat, I want to tell you that there is no blueprint, nobody has written it, and nobody can, to tell you how you grieve and how long you grieve for. But it's something I learned, I think it was last week, and I did a video about it. If you could understand the aspect of how somebody comes in your life, or how you choose to come in somebody's life. There is a beautiful person who passed away, and I think it was 32 years he was married to his wife for, and I was having a session with her. And guys, I'm not a medium. Please do not send me messages asking me to meet out to other energies who's passed on. The only time that happens, I think if it's something that that person really needs in that moment, like this woman, I think she needed to get a message from her husband. That's the only reason why my guides allowed me to give a message, and it was not directly from him. They just allowed me to see this individual where I could describe to her and then give her a message. Do not message me for mediumship, because I have friends who are mediums. Now I've connected to so many that my angels tell me I can trust, and they're beautiful souls. But I have not opened myself up to it. It started in the beginning and I found it uncomfortable. So it's not that I've shut it up, but I've put up a closed sign. I promise you. I put up a closed sign spiritually because I don't want to tap into that, and it doesn't feel as if it comes natural for me. So don't do that to me, okay? But if it's needed when I'm having a session with you, well, it will come through because we trust that. But don't come just for that purpose, because there are beautiful people here who surrender to that, and they will do it for you beautifully. And as I said, I've met so many others right now who I can, contact you with. All right. So it's one thing that I learned is this husband came through, and you know what he said to her, and I'm going to say this for you and anyone else, the Conscious Cat. The essence of this man came through, and he said, honey, love is what he said. He said, I want you to understand that I chose to spend a holiday with you, just like anyone would say, oh, I'm going for the summer holidays to somebody. And he said, this holiday lasted for 32 years. Here is what I don't want you to miss. Look at the things that we did in the 32 years. Look at the love that we created that now proves to you that love supersedes boundaries, dimensions, and life, this physical life. It never ends. I came on this holiday and look at our children and how much love we've imprinted upon them. And my holiday has ended, love. But yours still continues because you walk in my light and my grace. And please remember that I am there with you. And he gave her personal messages of things that she said, oh my gosh, he saw. And he said, I'm always there with you. I want you to subtly allow yourself the grace to grieve as long as you think you need to. But in those moments, just create a sacred space, because she said she never did. I said, put his picture on a wall or carry something for him that allows you in your physical moment to hold it or look at it. So you can always remember that he is. And then when you do that, for example, you have a locket or a jewelry. I hold this for a friend of mine. And every time you hold it, it's almost as if, oh my gosh, I'm calling it in. But it's not that you're calling them, because they're always there. But spirits have some kind of ethical, I think, grounding to them. that they do not permeate, they do not try to be in your being to make you scared or anything, but holding focus on that particular thing, that place. Some people put up, I don't know what you call it, but like a little wall or a table with something for their families, and they light a candle. These spirits, they don't mind you doing that, because it gives you the grace and the place to live. And then when it's a moment when you want to focus on them, if you allow yourself in that moment, the conscious cat, you'll be able to feel her presence and understand, oh my gosh, mom, you're here, because she is there. I want you to remember that they expand into this beautiful source, this ocean of love. And remember, you are an aspect of this ocean of love. It's impossible for you to be separated from them. However, I understand why your mind will say to you, I can't touch, I can't call, I can hear their voice. But it's because we were brought up not learning how to feel. And when you practice yourself now how to feel the energies of the people who are alive, I want you to start to practice that. Just close your eyes in the room with your partner and start to feel their energies. When the time comes for their vacation to expire, and it will, you can remember that feeling or that scent. Just hold on to these aspects of energy. And I hope that helps you, okay? Cindy Alanda, thank you for tuning in. Just tuning in. Higher Self Aura from San Antonio, Texas. Hey, girl. Thank you for tuning in. Walking in Favor, the real we outside. Okay, thank you so much. Jenna Swan, sending all love and light. I'm just trying to see if there are any questions before we close off today, okay? PG5D says, surrendering to source is a theme in my life this last few years. It can be so easy or difficult as it may be, and it's okay if it feels difficult. I don't want you to use the word hard. I want you to call it a challenge. Remember, when I was coming back to this physical body, and I want you to just visualize this, it felt as if something was sucking my soul through a straw to come back in this body. That's how expansive my soul is. That's how expansive your soul is. My soul is so expansive, it felt as if it had to be sucked through a straw, and that's how I felt the breath of consciousness. And as soon as I felt the breath of consciousness, then I became aware of this body. So here's what consciousness means, because somebody asked me this question last night. I just remembered that I need to answer that. Your consciousness is in your breath, and here is why. Your consciousness is your awareness. While you are breathing in this physical body, your awareness is of the physical realm. When you go to sleep, because you're sleeping and no longer aware of being physical, your consciousness goes back to pure source. This is why people say, I had this dream that I was on this spaceship and I was in this dimension and I don't know where I was, but I was doing these things that a human body couldn't do. It's because your soul is expansive. And your consciousness, the moment you go to the death process, the moment your breath leaves this body, even if parts of your body is still moving, the moment your breath stops, your awareness of the physical realm ceases. And your awareness of the spiritual realm begins. This is what happens. Your awareness is your consciousness. Now, as we breathe in this physical body, we are aware of the physicality, where we have limitations and we have to deal with emotions and deal with other people and their own, people would say SHIT, but their own crap to deal with, yeah? And I have my own crap to deal with because I am in a limited body. But my choice every day is to show up as the best version of myself and choose. Do I choose to give love today? Choose to be kind today to myself first? Or do I choose to withhold it and just be mean and atrocious? It is my choice. But as soon as I drop this suit and I go back to spirit, it will hit me like a ton of bricks, all the choices I made. And I will have to deal with it. Do you understand? So let's go to another question. A few days ago, Source told me I will teach you on YouTube. Then every day Source sends me videos. I save for reference. I was in the kitchen when I heard the famous still voice in my head. Yay! It's true. Because you are becoming aware, PG5D. You are becoming aware of Source. You're becoming aware of that voice. You're becoming aware of that nudge. When we start to be guided by something more than the physical body, you turn on your internal GPS, is what I call it. When you go in your vehicle, most people right now, you are so fearful to move because, oh my gosh, I don't want to go on the wrong road. So make sure you put in the right address. Jamaican people say, you have in the right address because me don't know this road. So it's the same thing. That's what you're doing, PG5D. You have tapped into your internal GPS, and now you are trusting yourself, just the way I explained it to you, like you're in this ocean of love, and now you trust. So no matter what comes, you are ever so trusting, so you can be guided to hear that voice to say, look right. And when you look right, you'll see your name and say, we've got it. Or you're in this thought that say, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Is this the right decision? And you look ahead of you just when you're supposed to look, and you see something that say, you've got this on a license plate. Or you start to have repeating numbers, which some people say is bad, but listen to me. It's directive from source. And every time you have a thought that you want validation, you see 1111. You can't miss it. Even if you try to miss it, it's on a phone, it's on a screen, it's on a clock, but you just know every single time to look in that moment. You think it dropped from sky? It's been divinely choreographed for you to remember, wait, you're not walking alone. I order your steps, okay? Let's Explore says, where can I find the link to join Zoom? Oh gosh, I hope you find it. It is in the post that I made. Liv, I don't even know how to do these things sometimes. I don't know what I'm doing.
I got you. I actually posted your Zoom.
Oh, you posted it? Because
Mhm.
I thought I posted it in here, but I mean, if you find it, Liv posted it, so you'll see it from Olivia, okay?
I'll post it again.
Okay. Somebody says, beautiful souls here. Thank you. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Fiji5D. Walking in Favor says, whose voice would you say it was that told me I have powers to heal? And it was so. How did it feel? Walking in Favor, you have the voice of God flowing through you every day. Somebody said to me, Nikki, how do I know that the voice is real? I ask you, how do you feel when you hear the voice? See, a voice that comes to you in fear, in egotistical proofs to say you're better than them, and you stuff like that, that puts doubt in you to say you don't deserve, that's not the voice of God. The voice of God, and sometimes you'll say the voice of your guides, because when you become present, then sometimes you realize, oh my gosh, it's Archangel Raphael, it's Yeshua, it's all these ascended masters, whichever one. All are one and all, and many will not agree with this, and that's okay if you don't. If you feel a reverence, a sense of peace, if you feel as if your soul lights up, if every time you listen to that voice, you find, oh my gosh, I missed it by an inch. I'm so happy that I listened to that voice, that I paused myself for 5 minutes because, oh my gosh, look what happened. If I had been there, I would have been in that accident. If I had done that, this is what would have happened. When you start to listen to a voice that allows you to feel whole and safe, that is a voice of reason. That is a God aspect that is a guide in you, not because it's the first time, but it's because you've now allowed yourself to receive it. You are now aware that every time I have this feeling, I can trust it. Every time I hear this voice, which most times is your own voice, I can trust the guidance that comes from it. Okay? Let's see what else. Sakara Bloom, where's a link for my website? It's in my YouTube. If you go in anywhere in my YouTube, you'll see it, even in the whatever, and I'll post it here also. Sabrina Ann says she said her link is in. Oh, thank you for replying. Okay, Michelle Cannon Free says, love that you speak on autism. Both of my sons are on the spectrum. Eldest son is 25, happily married and started for his PhD, of course. Well, I didn't know this until I had this communication with these angels, because I was always empathic towards mothers and families who had children on the spectrum and autistic children. And I'll never forget, just after my ND, I remember one day I was pulled to go to the park. And when I went to the park, I'll never forget, right here in New York, and I went to the park, and there was, sometimes they have trips that they take, I don't know if they're centers or whatever, they take them out, and they were at the park and they were having fun, and some of them seem to be on the spectrum, some are autistic, so when they come out, they are just so one with nature, and I always love that. So I'm sitting in my space, and for some reason, whenever I go to the park, squirrels always find me. I don't know why squirrels are comfortable around me, but I was there observing the squirrels, but for a moment, I remember I looked over on them, and in my mind, I didn't know then, but that night in meditation, the angel showed me that, do you realize that when you looked on that boy, although you were being empathic, you were being empathic with judgment. He doesn't need your judgment, you know. And I didn't understand. I said, but I'm empathic, you know, because I hold on empathy. I said, but I'm an empathic person. They said, yes, but empathy does not add light if you have judgment ingrained into it. And they allowed me to feel what I did. And I could go back to realize, oh my gosh, because when I started to observe this boy and he was hugging this tree, but in my mind, there was a thought that I didn't realize I had to say, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could deal with that. And they said, energetically, did you notice how much his energy changed and he became agitated? I was like, yeah, he became agitated and he was acting out. And the angels allowed me to say, if you're going to walk in the aspect of God, the judgment cannot be aligned with God. You have to let it go. And I bawl. I bawl that night. Why? Not because of what they showed me, but because of what they allowed me to feel. That when he became agitated, I started to send, oh my gosh, I'm sending clarity, give him healing. And I didn't realize that I caused that. I get some terrible lessons from the angels sometimes, guys. So from that moment when I realized, oh my gosh, they feel more than they hear. So from your just having a thought for a parent or a mother or a family, with somebody on the spectrum or autistic, don't use your empathy with judgment. God has nothing to do with that. If you're empathic and you send love. And you lather yourself into that aspect of God who is showing you that I am on the spectrum according to what you say. But I did not come here to be fixed. I come here to be in your sight for you to see another version of love. Because your society, this earth says, in order for me to fit in, to be called normal, I must have 10 fingers and 10 toes that works perfectly. I must walk upright perfectly. I must be able to speak syllables and form words perfectly. And what the angel showed me, nobody on the spectrum or on neurodivergent needs to be fixed. I bawled that night. I bawled that night because I've never seen or perceived it that way. But they taught me a lesson. They said they don't come to be fixed. They are you meeting God. Listen, my angels showed me so much ways that I meet God. I had to do this book. Because I said to myself, I want everybody to know that you meet God every day. Because they said to me, that's God showing you that my unconditional love does not fit in what your society says is a normal person or a normal being. I am just unconditional love. I cried that night. Because I'm thinking to myself, how many other parents have I seen with a child who's growing a tantrum or a child in neurodivergent or whatever, and I thought I was being empathic, but instead I had judgment with my empathy. I want you to understand it's a responsibility to be a human being. We must be accountable for how we look at people. And we didn't come here to fix nobody. Please don't try to fix people. God didn't ask you to be God. If you're a light of God, you simply show up the way you are, in love and kindness. Don't try to judge people and point at them to say, if you don't do things my way, God not like you. Who told you that? That's not your responsibility. That's their walk with God. Allow people, as they feel as if they've expired in one belief, to explore whatever they feel they need. Because there is a mastery that God is setting them up to. Shut your mouth and just give them love. Do not be judgmental and allow them to explore the aspect of God wherever it is. Because every human being has another reason. They have an assignment on this planet. So for you, my love, who said you have these two beautiful children, I want you to know this moment. This is from my perspective, from what the angels showed me, from my insignificant way of thinking that I was empathic. They say that every child who's on this planet, despite what society, medical or whatever, says cause the autism or cause a neurodivergent in a child, whether they want to say it's environment, medication, shots, whatever they say, all these things that do appear on the physical realm, I want you to know, on the spiritual realm, every parent, friend, and person you know with an autistic child or with neurodivergent or any one of these spectrums, know that they are advanced souls. I'm not talking on a physical level. On a soul level, that's an advanced soul who chose. Let me choose this very dysfunctional family. Let me choose this mother who is going for a breakup. They're going for a divorce. And I want to allow her because she's such a container of love. She doesn't have the answers, but she has so much love to give. She can contain the unconditional love that I'm bringing. And I can be a voice of reason without the sound. So I can connect with her on a spiritual level because I won't come speaking, but I will show up for her. I will show up for my community, for this school, for this country. So when people see me, if they will allow themselves to walk in the aspect of God, they won't judge me, but they will feel the unconditional love that God sent me here for. That blew my mind. I cannot unsee it. I cannot unhear it. And I will step on your toes if I witness you ostracizing any one of these advanced souls. And I will step on your toes gently, with grace, not with judgment, but I will remind you that is an aspect of God. That is God showing you, here I am, and you meet me today. Now you choose if you give love or you withhold it. It's a lesson. Who else?
Nikki,
What does, yeah, Olivia.
Sorry, I am going to read this comment before you
Yes,
go to
thanks,
the
Liv.
next person because I was so moved by it.
Yes, and I can't see
And
them so well on my side. Thanks, Liv.
Erica literally brought me to tears. Erica says, I've had many experiences that I perceived as betrayal by family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand how these people who I was dedicated to and would do anything for could do these things to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a vision of my inner child, and she turned her back on me. I was so hurt by this. Then
Mm-hmm.
I realized that it was me who had betrayed myself by turning my back on my true self. And I responded to her. I said, "Yeah, self betrayal. It's definitely powerful, but also I feel like her inner child seriously loves her so much that it brought tears to me when I read this." And then she went on to say that she heard confirmation. She was riding along in a car and her windows, I think, were down. And she pulled up next to another car and heard the song from Journey. And it said, "Don't stop believing."
Oh, God.
I have tears. I'm sorry. Um, so,
Done.
Erica, thank you so much because I can relate to this. So, thank you for your share.
Oh, my God, Liv. Erica, you see what you just experienced? It's God. I spent hours going through a self-love and healing course to take people step by step by step just to get to where you got, Erica, by surrendering to God. And we look on these situations and we say, why? God, why me? Why am I in this dysfunctional place? Why is it that these people are betraying me? But what we miss most times is we are the light that are sent in the darkest places. Not because we are weak, not because life is beating up on us, but because we are able to surrender and listen to the voice of God, to be a witness, to be a lighthouse for these people in the families who've held on to so much hate and pain and trauma. And even if it's just one person in this huge family who can see the light of God through my grace of understanding, of holding on to empathy, of not mirroring them with the anger that they choose to hold on to, I've done enough on my assignment on this planet. Erica, these are the moments that we live for. People look for the grandeur things. I want to be on this big stage and I want to be this big person and I want to be known. Let go of these attachments and just revel in your authenticity. Liv, if you see anything else out there. Erica, if you believe that you still need to tap into this, send me an email, nekeshaburrell@gmail.com. I will send you my course for free because you've started this process. But I want you to go through the version in there where you sign a contract with yourself that you will never abandon yourself anymore. Live, people don't understand how much we have abandoned our inner child.
Yeah.
And the wounds that we carry now that shows up in alcohol, in patterns, in hating on ourselves, is in not feeling worthy. It really has nothing to do with the trigger we see every day. We have an inner child. Oh my God. Why are we going to cry today again, Liv? What's
I don't
happening with
know.
this crying? We did it enough yesterday, did we not?
Yeah, yeah. The inner child is really powerful. And I have to apologize because there were actually two messages that I read. So the first part was Erica speaking on her inner child. The other message was written by Belinda,
Yeah.
and Belinda asserting the fact that she had received confirmation and that she's the one who heard the song from Journey, Don't Stop Believing. But I love the fact that I blended the two together. I don't know why. Maybe Spirit had me
Yes, but
blend the two together
not by
in this
accident.
moment, not
Yeah.
by accident. And maybe to tell Erica's little child, don't stop believing also. And it,
Erica, send me an email so I can I'll send you my entire course because you deserve it. You started the work and I want you to commit to not abandoning you. I went through this process and I was very upset the first time the angel said to me, you don't love yourself. How can somebody tell you that you don't love yourself when you tell every other human being on this planet that you love them? And I was a hugger. My sister used to cuss the daylights out of me and now I could you no more because I would just see people and I would just see somebody and I would feel that it's not that I felt that they're drained. Do you know what happened, Liv? I felt this familiarity to their energy because I know the feeling. You know that way where you meet somebody, but it's not that you know them, but you know the feeling that they're in.
yes.
So I would feel how depleted they felt. And I was just pulled, just hug them. Because I wanted to touch to say, if I touch them, maybe I can allow them to feel God. And my sister would say, you have to stop it. This is New York City. You can't just walk up to people and hug them. So, but if I don't care if they're homeless or not, I just wanted to feel them. And I understand that feeling because I was like, the angels brought me through this thing, but they're not, because it's, as soon as I open my mouth and I say God, people get repelled. They're like, well, yeah, try sell me today. You know, people say, what? Because I'm not trying to sell anything because I'm not walking and talking about gospel. I just want you to realize who you are as a human being. And this is so beautiful because in order for me to get back to self-love, I had to heal. And in order for me to heal, I had to go back to a very young age that I did not remember about as an adult. Man, I didn't remember. But the angels took me there because I needed to go there in order to rediscover where it started. It's very important for us to go back. The very first day that we imprinted this thought in our mind to say, I'm insignificant, I need to be quiet because every time I speak up, I get in trouble. So I'll shrink my light. And as long as you grow, you keep pressing the replay button. Every time a situation occurs, you choose to settle because I have to earn my love and I need to be quiet because every time I do, I get in trouble. What we don't realize as we grow is this alarm system doesn't grow with us. We need to kick it out, right? And we have to remember that now I'm an adult. As a child, my voice wasn't worthy to be heard, but I'm an adult now. I can choose for myself. So I will speak my truth. I'll speak up. But many of us, because we've disconnected our inner child from ourselves, we haven't even felt that grace anymore in years. So we believe, God, why me? Why can't I have a relationship? Why can't I be happy within myself? Well, because you've left a very important part of you behind. And there is just a beautiful, gentle way that you use God to get back to that space of knowing, not to go back to where fear and trauma is, but to go back for that inner child to say, you're safe now. I'm an adult now and I'm going to protect your Bahudi because nobody will ever tell you to shut up again. And it sounds very simple, but I needed to do that. And in that doing, I got to forgive, not the situation, but I got to forgive myself, which I didn't know was important. Because over the years, I didn't know I need to forgive myself. Forgive myself to believe that a person, a situation could take away my power so much that I will keep living as an adult in a cocoon, shrinking my light, believing that if I speak up, somebody's going to tell me to shut up. And it's a point of liberation where you say, wait. So in my situation now, I will speak small truths. And the first time you speak your truth, you kind of feel something breathe you. It's your liberation. And you say, wait a minute. I just spoke my truth and the world didn't end. And my inner child is feeling pretty good. And you just keep gracefully, gently allowing yourself to speak small truths and show up for yourself until one day you clear rooms. People leave you alone. Why? Not because you're losing people, but because those people who are now don't want to talk to you anymore or be around you, they were feeding off believing that I am going to be susceptible to them sucking my light away. When I speak, I'm going to take her energy. I still hold power over her. And when you start to show up for yourself, you do clear rooms. God clears those rooms for you. And the ones who leave, those are the ones who matter. Even if it's a stranger and all your family is departed from you, it's fine. The ones that God allows to lead, to be left in your life, they're the ones who love you unconditional. The ones who left had too many conditions on you. I will love you if you listen what I say. I will love you when you do as I please. I will love you how you show up as yourself, because I can't afford for you to be authentic. In order for you to be in my life, you need to be exactly how I have coined you to be. Those people can go, don't you think now? We're adults. Exactly. So these are the things that we go through as we have to heal. And in your healing, people separate God from it. God has everything to do with your healing. That's why we get these repeating signs and numbers. How long have we been on here? Because I don't want to keep everyone on your beautiful Sunday. People in Caribbean places or Caribbean people probably having a rice and peas and chicken and stove, cooking. I am a former atheist. Liv, do you see this? Michelle Cannon Free. I'm a former atheist. My biggest spiritual awakening came as I fed my newborn. Oh, God and divine timing. First of all, Michelle, the identity that we place on ourselves as human beings to say, I'm an atheist, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a this. These are just rooms in these mansions that we came here on earth that other people created anyway. So saying that you're an atheist was just an expression of a version of yourself that served you for that moment of time until you decided, or until God decided, hey, I need this human being to see the aspect of what pure love is. So I'm happy that you got to meet God in the face of a beautiful newborn, because many of us get to see that. And you didn't meet it on your deathbed. So it's okay. I'm happy for you. Is there anything else before we go?
Just a quick note that Anita would like also to participate in your course for the inner child. So when you post it in the community.
Yeah, I haven't posted it in our community, which is weird. I'm such a horrible person at that. I posted it on my YouTube, but I posted it. And here's why I live, because I had different plans for that. So let's talk about that. I had different plans for the community. That's why I didn't post it in there yet. Listen, this girl have plans, okay?
I hear you.
So that's why it's not posted in the community yet. I wanted it on the website. Community, we are going to have a powwow about the course first, and then it will be integrated in that way for those who need it. Okay, so Anita, you will definitely get it, but we have plans for that. Okay. Is there anyone else before we go? I don't know what time it is, which is crazy. Oh, it's 1:19. 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Okay, so we can close off at 1:30, I think. So we did 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it was supposed to be 1. We need to start to monitor time, Liv. We're horrible with time. But if you need it, we'll do it. You don't want us to miss our Sunday. What do you mean this is our Sunday? We will have a blessed day. Okay, to Orleans. That's quite fine. I just don't want anybody to think, large chat nothing, because when you come where I am, I do talk a lot because I have something in my mind that I want to say. And then when I'm talking to you, I'm imprinted with other things. Depending on who is listening, we will get imprints. Liv, I want to give you the floor. Is there any message that you want to give anyone today or anyone else who wants to give the floor? You lot, you have no idea. Olivia is somebody who should be world renowned because when she speaks, it's an angel actually speaking. It is not just me. We have a community of beautiful human beings, just like you out there, whose voices needs to be heard. I don't want anybody depending on me, because it's one thing that we do. We kick bahooties and we make sure everybody stands up for themselves and speak their truth. So Liv, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I think the message, as I channel also Mother Mary
Yeah.
and a team of divine feminine beings, but not just them, also Yeshua. And the message is, you are a powerful lighthouse, and for you to really shine as much as you possibly can, simply because by shining your light, you will allow for someone else to remember their own light. And this will empower them as well to show up as the powerful lighthouses that they are. I think that, Nekesha hit it on the nail where she said, we're not here to save anyone, but we're definitely here to contribute to the betterment of this world. And that means a better, quality of life for everybody, kindness, compassion, unconditional love. And so just be who you are, meet everybody where they are. And I leave you with that message, sending love to everyone. Nikki, my darling, you're muted. You're muted.
I am muted. Here I am. So I'll leave you with this today. We live through very old stories. And you know what? These books, we need to get them together and chuck them in the bin. Everybody needs to write down the aspects today of everything that you know, because you know it, that's holding you back in this life. These ideas to say, oh, I don't want to talk my truth because I don't think I deserve because. And we're holding on to these old stories because my mom said this, and I am fighting myself and I'm stepping over other human beings because I want to prove to my mom, I want to prove to this person, I want to prove to this ex. You don't need to prove anything outside of yourself to anybody. You just need to show up for you. So these old wounds, which I call them wounds, old identities, old rocks that we've picked up on this life of sand. How can we keep holding on to them and still expect to hear God clearly through all that noise? It's not possible. So I want you for this week to promise me this. Every one of you who's on here, how many people are on here now? 47 people watching. Thank you for showing up. I want you to show up for this week, your self-talk. This is the first thing that your mind hears. It's the first message and story that your mind populates. It's the first thing that it sends to your body, which translates this, that gives you the tightness of the chest, that gives you the pain in the shoulders, this indecisive feeling, this anxiety. It's everything that your mind says that's crazy. Your body never lies to you. So I want you to reprogram how your mind tells your story this week. Promise me. You see your self-talk starting this moment, especially those of you with this I am statement. I am, I am, I am. Either upon the channel of God or for yourself. When you say I am not enough, your spirit can't hear God's truth. Do you know that? I want you to practice right now. Say, I am unworthy. Say it 3 or 4 times. And you see, while your mind is saying that, I want you to not focus on what you're saying. I want you to feel what your body's telling you. Your body never lies. You say, I am unworthy for a few times and feel what your body tells you. If it could give you a punch, it would, to say, shut your mouth. You are worthy. The aspect of God flows through you, but we do not feel, not even our own selves, but we will believe something that comes on the screen and we get in fear and say, oh my gosh, it's true. What does your body say? Have you felt what your heart's been telling you recently? When you affirm, I am love, say it a few times and feel how this beautiful flower opens up in your chest to affirm that. Your nervous system immediately starts to say, wait, this girl is telling a new story and I love it. And your mind starts to say, wait, so I don't have to say I'm not worthy anymore? Wait, I can start telling a new story about this beautiful being. I am worthy. I am enough. I am standing up for myself. I deserve unconditional love. I will not settle anymore. I. This is how you affirm your I and allow your nervous system to allow you to feel butterflies. That before people speak, the ones who usually allow you or want you to settle, Before they open your mouth, you can feel it coming in, and you can shut them up by being either silent with your wisdom or speaking your small truth to say, I'm sorry, no. I will not say yes today because my heart is telling me to say no. I'm pouring into me. This is why self-love is not a cliche. As much as you say, Nikki, I don't know self-love. Nikki, I love myself. You can love yourself. Loving yourself is your spiritual alignment to God. So many people walk and we talk about, oh my gosh, these masters and these things that we love. And you can't love yourself. So how are you going to love Jesus now? Tell me. You love Jesus in the stories of what you heard Jesus do, but you can't love yourself, let alone your neighbor and another person of another color or sexual orientation, whatever they choose to do. That's their path they want to take. I don't need to fix them. I just need to show up. Do you understand? So this conversation, I know, it opened up something for many of you, but I want you to promise yourself this week. Be aware of how you speak to yourself. Be aware of how you feel when somebody speaks to you. And open up, put up your boundaries of what affects you and how you react to it. Just for this week. See how different you feel. Because if you're ready to hear God more clearly, you're ready to heal the noise inside that blocks divine guidance, because you're being guided in every way. Okay? So we are going to close out. I'm not cooking rice and peas today because my body needs vegetable. I'm going to have some fruit and chill. And then I'm going to take a walk to the park because today is that beautiful day. But it is the closest thing for you to show up for yourself in your authenticity. Anyone who needs to join our community, you can. I don't really care too much about, because it's already on my screen. This was not to advertise anything, because we are a beautiful team the way we are. If you feel as if you need to, that's fine. But if you don't, please walk in your truth. That's all that matters. Okay? We will show up as often as we can, because there's so much here that we know, not because we're perfect, but because we've walked this walk and we've made mistakes and we've turned over a lot of times and cried, and we still will cry because we're human beings. But the second chance that I have to live on this planet, I choose not to go back and watch myself not showing up when somebody needed to hear something that would fill their souls. And that's why we choose to do this. And we will add our links under this thing for whoever he needs it. And my links are on my YouTube. Liv, I want you to add your links. All of us from our beautiful team, add your links. Because sometimes somebody probably wants to hear somebody's story. But we'll keep showing up for this. Now, the topic was supposed to be, where is God? God is right here, y'all. Right here. And if God was sitting right here, and I want to leave with this because we're closing out right now. God says to all of you who's here right now, I give you everything you've ever asked for, and I don't care how silly it is. Car, boat, money, abundance, husband, whatever it is you want. And God said, I'm giving you everything right now. So now you have everything. And God says to you, what is the one thing that you will choose to stop right now? Now that you have everything that your heart desired. That's part one. Part two, what is it that you will start? So what will you stop doing right now? And what's the one thing you will start? Because you've had an excuse that I won't stop doing this because I don't know where God is yet. And you had another excuse. I have to wait until maybe I die. I have to wait until I retire. I have to wait until these things before. I want you to clock on that. God is right here in this midst, in every midst, in your breath. And when we end this life, God is still there with you, never left. So I want you to show up for yourself, because showing up for yourself is showing up for God. I want to thank all of you who sat with us today in this beautiful, beautiful session that I tried for the first time, but it worked so well because I actually can see you on the screen, and I will do it more because now I've learned to do it. Livia, thank you so much for showing up, because we did not plan this and you showed up. The grace of God just allowed you to be here to help me out, and I'm so grateful for you. So grateful for all of you. Thank you, Leigh. Thank you, everyone else who came on this. Who else is here? Thank you, everyone who's just here to show up.
Thank you
And
so
have
much.
yourself a wonderful Sunday, reset yourself in an intention for the new week. Carry God with you. Army up. God, I have this week to start. My intention is. And start your day anointing it with blessings and love. I'll see you all in the next video or the next